concise approach to top-down market strategies and the forces affecting investments. That's the spoken word on investing.
We're going to get the spoken word now on energy and materials from our chief equity strategist, John Blank, who joins me via Skype from Los Angeles way. John, you wrote recently that the momentum is on for energy and the materials sectors for the first time in years. Why?
Terry, back in the middle of February, there has become, only in hindsight, but it's clearly the case, that the consensus called a bottom at $26 a barrel for oil in the middle of February. And that is a global bottom, meaning it's going to be sticking for years. So when you have a global bottom, that means that things are rising for energy, which means they're also rising for all kinds of commodity stocks. This is, aluminum, silver, gold, platinum, palladium, things like even steel, iron ore. They're all coming up with the price of oil. And that's putting a bid in the energy and material sectors, but it's also putting a bid in a third sector, which is in the industrial space. Construction and building materials are also coming up because they're able to pass on some of that price increases to their customers now. And they're seeing also the idea that growth in China is driving up energy and materials costs. That picks the bid up for manufacturing, and that's also picking a bid up for these types of companies. So we're seeing a very strong momentum stock play in a lot of companies in the building material space right now, Terry.
All right, but you caution that there are some risks here, right?
Absolutely. That's what I want to do this video about. We have three companies I want to talk about, Terry. First one is Gibraltar Industries, ticker ROC. And these guys are up in Hamburg, New York, which is south of Buffalo, named after the old German industrial city. And what they do is they make all kinds of things with metal, but things to think about that are really fascinating is it's metal boxes for apartments to store packages coming from Amazon and the internet. So all these metal boxes that you see in apartment buildings and houses and buildings and office buildings all over the country are using these Gibraltar metal boxes. The other thing they're doing, Terry, is metal roofs, which are very big in the remodeling space. So here you've got to play for remodeling and you've got to play for the internet. It's really fascinating. Other company I like out there is Headwaters Incorporated. They're out in Utah. And what they do is they do architectural stone. So again, it's a remodeling play, not a housing play for buying and selling, but just remodeling houses, cheapo way to get a new exterior to your house and decking. But what they also do within that architectural stone is what's called fly ash. This is fascinating, Terry. The Romans, thousands of years ago, knew that if you added in ash to the cement, you got a much better product. So now they're experimenting with this fly ash cement, and it's much more durable and much stronger. So they've got a competitive advantage going. Third company I like is NCI Building Systems down in Houston. And what these guys make is they coat metal. So here you've got metal buildings. They are more of a non-residential play, industrial play. But all three of these companies are having the bid, and we're seeing their stocks rise, Terry. And these are companies people can check out on Zacks.com. They're all Zacks #1 ranked right now. This sector is 35 out of 265. It's a top 15% play. This is an area you want to look into. But what you find, Terry, back to the risks, is that the fair value has been achieved on Gibraltar. Fair value is almost achieved on Headwaters. And the only stock that has any fair value play right now is that NCI Building System because it's non-residential. So the issue you've got here is, one, that the oil materials are all oil play. Oil size prices head south. Material prices head south. These stocks go south too. Number two, fair value is in for most of these stocks. You've got to be careful about fair value. If it's already priced in, you've got no play. Number three, the fair value play that's in with NCI is non-residential, and that means there's no diversification, product diversification, industry diversification. So they may be priced down because they're too scary and too risky in terms of their final demand. So those three elements, oil heading south, fair value being already in, and diversification not being there, I want to put that on the table for people who are looking at these types of companies.
All right, so interesting names, maybe opportunities. Keep an eye on oil prices.
That's correct, Terry. You summarized it well.
All right, John, thanks for that spoken word on energy and materials. And with John Blank, I'm Terry Ruffalo.